Gonna feel real good. Gonna make it right. Woo!
Good morning.
First
Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Welcome to another week.
We're cranking these out, son. I think we're around 100, I think.
I don't know what the number is.
This is a shout out to Paul Rushton. I promised I would play this.
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Andrea. Tim.
Dropping pearls out there.
Yeah, love her content. Morning, Sean Flood.
From Ireland.
Larry Long Jr., Michael. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Tammy McKenzie from Houston in the house. That's commitment because it's 7 o'clock there.
It's a little earlier.
Morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Nudelberg Daily Huddle.
Good morning.
You see Shay and you see my son. Morning, Jim Barrett.
Whole crew coming in. Great song. And it's all timing.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's start out by asking both of you gentlemen, how was your weekend?
It's fantastic. Go ahead, Shay. You go first.
All good. Got a little sunburn.
A little sunburned, he says.
Shay on the beach. I was actually working out on the beach. I left the beach on my bike, and somebody yells my name, and it was him coming east to the beach. So we saw each other. It was kind of cool.
It was absurdly hot this weekend. I can tell you.
It was very, very hot.
It was absurdly hot.
It was absurdly hot. I will give you that. It was very, very hot. But
good morning, Lori's DMGB conversation will come out this week, which was phenomenal. Thank you again for being on, Lori. I really enjoyed the time together.
Tracy Kawa with her son, bringing a new generation in. Nice job, Tracy. Hope all is well in your world as we enter the last month of third quarter. So we got lots of stuff going on. Shay is in the backdrop. So anybody who's got a question, anybody who wants to do, he'll throw it up. We got lots of content for a Monday, lots of really, really good stuff. Do you want to jump in there, my friend?
Sure. You want to review what we talked about from last week because it was actually
that's a good way to start. I like to review, and let's make sure that we're learning and taking away the stuff we did this morning on my during my workout. I listened to the podcast. Actually, makes for a pretty good podcast.
If you do say so yourself.
I do. So I listen to podcasts all the time. Not bad listening to yourself. You're actually good, man.
So we kicked off last week. Monday was Mamba mentality. It was Kobe Bryant Day, and it was an unbelievable day talking about do better. And that kind of set the tone for the whole week because then Tuesday was the Tuesday that I brought the content of the power of forgiveness and the Harvard Health Reach mentality or method, which, talking about forgiveness opened us up for the rest of the week. And then you jumped in on Wednesday
with the science of persuasion. I loved the Macy Gray song that we used, which was amazing.
Thursday was the connectivity with the consumer, which was a great article about Honest Company and what they're doing in order to connect with people. We talked about how to connect on LinkedIn and gave you just some 5 basic essential rules in order to build a network in a digital environment. And then Friday, we finished it with the power of thoughts and positive thinking, sent you into the weekend the right way. And now here we are back for another week of learning.
Now, just to reiterate on Friday, I think the basis of every single thing that goes on, every single thing that we coach, every single guiding factor starts with the real estate, that mushy real estate between your ears. And so it is about positive thinking. Lots of feedback on that one, lots of interaction. So thank you for that. As we jump into today, condolences to the Bozeman family, Chadwick Bozeman. When I heard that, I was like, holy cow, had no idea that he was even sick.
I said
And
the
so
same
they kept that one quiet, you know.
I said the exact same thing. And then there's been some pictures that have surfaced, I guess he had posted, of him getting skinnier and stuff like that. But it was a real shock to me. And obviously he's played some amazing roles. If you guys haven't seen Black Panther, it's a must-see. But Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and he played some unbelievable, powerful Black roles that were great.
So there's a defining quote from Chadwick Boseman, and this quote is, "The struggles along the way are meant to shape your purpose." And we lost a good one. He had, in 2018, had done an interview with Kobe. They weren't best of friends, but they did sort of share their good feelings for each other. They had recently talked prior to Kobe's accident, and now they're both gone. What a loss! Horrible. Moving on to better news. The commitment we have is every day now we are going to give you the email/LinkedIn Hall of Shame. And these are just people just asleep at the wheel, robots, not paying attention to the fact that the world is not transactional anymore. It's relational. So here's a beauty. John Calvaruzzo. I hope you are listening. And if somebody here knows him, he sent me an invite. I sent him back my famous note. John, thanks for the invite. Can you remind me how we know each other? And he comes back. He goes, "Hi, Steve. I don't remember." Drop the mic.
You really can't make it up. Like you just can't make it up. It's unbelievable. Like
a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the power of laughter. Thank you, John, for a great laugh, because the chances of us doing business, becoming friends, or doing anything in this lifetime just went out the window. I don't know if you have any, because I have a few.
Just give us all three of yours.
All right, this is great. Mark Brooks, who is the sponsorship coordinator at AI4. "Hi, Steve. Hope you're good. My company is hosting a fully digital CRE conference with over 500 multifamily owners. Any interest in sponsoring?" The guy doesn't even. There's no dance. There's no kissing. There's no wine. There's no nothing. He goes right for the.
I didn't do it.
Hello. Let's have sex right away. Okay, good. So this one's classic. This is happening from two different categories. Really cool. Financial and franchise development. I'm seeing this, like the same message from all the franchise development people. "Hi, Steve. We've never met, so this may seem odd. So if you think it's odd right off the bat, why would you do it? I seek out those at the top of their profession. Would you be against meeting by Zoom call? Always being transparent, my intent is to ultimately earn your trust, understand what's important to you, and be the steward of your planning and your assets." No chance. Unbelievable. Doesn't know anything about me, sends the same message to everybody on the planet. You have anything to add to that Hall of Fame stuff, Mr. Nudelberg?
No, I just, let's continue to drive home the lessons from it, is that all of these people think that they're doing something by making it a personal note, by saying, I want to get to somebody who's the top of their profession, but it's not. It's all canned, and there's no real actual work that's gone into crafting that message. So it's like you're walking up to the plate and closing your eyes and swinging, or you're walking up to whatever reference you want to make. You're into the kitchen and you're just grabbing seasonings and you're throwing them on the food with no real idea on what you're doing. So just like you would do anything else, just take some time to actually think about it before you do it. And it's immediately better. than
So
all of
Jim is
that.
getting these messages. I only bring you the truth here. I'm just telling you, it's so transparent. Now, whether it's the first time you reach out, number one, or number two, if you haven't spoken to somebody in a while, the most relevant way, and I did it this morning, was somebody posted their their top 5 fitness rules. And this is a senior guy, CEO of an insurance company, and I had been in dialogue with him before. I jumped into a message and said, hey, really appreciate you sharing your 5 top fitness assets. You look the part, man. Great job. I didn't even go for an ask. All I did was open the conversation again, because most people would have gone, okay, here's the phony bullshit connection. You want to have a meeting? Like, whoa, dialogue again. So in the vein of having fun and in the vein of us bringing new words to this opportunity every single morning, the word of the day is frolic.
Which I want to know, for me, the first thing I think of when I think of frolic is a field full of daisies and somebody literally prancing around. Like I picture like Will Ferrell, in like a gymnastics outfit, just dancing through the field.
So, it's funny because everybody has a vision when someone says the word frolic, yet it's one of those words that you don't hear often. So the dictionary definition is play and move about cheerfully, excitedly, or energetically. Now, if you're going to kickstart a Monday of a great week leading us into the last month of third quarter, shouldn't you frolic? The noun is a playful action or movement. Why shouldn't prospecting be like frolicking? I'm frolicking through building relationships. Jim, as long as you are clothed while you frolic, that is good in most states. But so a gentleman named Malik on Twitter goes viral for discovering frolicking. And he basically said, I frolicked. So he made it a verb for the first time ever today, bro. Y'all ever frolic before? Why no one ever tells me about this? Which is really amazing. If you're looking for something to pick up your spirits a little bit during these difficult times, here's a recommendation. And if you have never frolicked, Mark, will you frolic with me today?
Yeah, well, I'm frolicking all the way through LinkedIn today. So just join me as we frolic.
Just think about if single thing you do, you look at it as a frolic. Like I'm gonna do this today. It's Monday morning. I'm gonna frolic. And by the way, this is a great way for you to jump into social media and add content today and talk about frolicking. But
simple, and it's fun. Keep it fun. Keep it enjoyable.
Listen, so John Son is frolicking to the man in the mirror. Be careful there, dude.
Leave it alone. Let's move on.
That's legal in some states.
Move on to Warren Buffett, please.
Okay. So here's the meat and potatoes of the day, as we always try and get to something where there's real learning. Yesterday was Warren Buffett's 90th birthday. So amazing. He turns 90. And it's the story of America's most influential and wealthy business leader. And it's all a study about logic and discipline. That see if you can take some of this away for yourself. Logic and discipline and understanding future value. Big circle. Prospecting is all about understanding logic and value and understanding future value. Comment, my son.
Yeah, I mean, the discipline part of it is, being disciplined to doing it daily, but the long game, investing, and this is a guy who does not move out of his comfort zone. Like if you look at his portfolio of the companies that he invests in, they're not technology companies. They're not digital companies. He's not moving into the what's happening in new space. He sticks to what he knows, and he's done that for his entire career. So not the guy who jumps to the next hottest thing, but saying, I know what works for me and in my investment style, and it's what I've done forever.
So Lloyd, Buffett is a big time frolicker. That's awesome. This is great. So he lives by a couple of words. which, again, these are all lessons: patience, caution, and consistency. This gentleman, for 60 years, goes to the same McDonald's every single morning, spends $3.17. He has exact change for the same breakfast every single day. I'm not sure what, maybe that's frolicking, is eating McDonald's every day. Their new commercials with their Egg McMuffin, I'm about ready to tear one off the screen.
You're ready to frolic through a McDonald's? I think.
So I want to
go ahead.
So I want to talk about a specific case study of something he invested in 100 years ago, and something that has done really, really well. And if you Google it, there's C's Candy Shops, and he invested in 1972. And here's his philosophy, which I really, really, really love. He lets businesses stick to their knitting. Maybe they're one of the best lines ever. And this is a lesson for those of you who are trying to be all things to everybody, trying to add services that may or may not fit, where you might not be great at it. Core focus. I had this conversation with Howie Craw the other day, and this is fundamental to what Warren Buffett teaches. Mark, do you know who sells the most coffee?
I do know this.
Okay. Well, you've been around me for a long time.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Why McDonald's? Why do they sell the most coffee?
Because they've already, I forget the reason. You got it.
They sell more hamburgers. Once you stick to your knitting and you are great at it and do whatever it is you do great. Most people are good. Get great at what you do. Stick to your knitting. Then you can choose at that point to add on. And so I love that philosophy.
I'm going to give you the philosophy that I carried through every single season as a football coach. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Oh, I love that.
Period. You'd go in because it's easy to get wrapped up in what the other person does and how the best way to attack them is, and you get all of these other influences. The season's changing. You got to win this week. It's the biggest game of the season. If we win this, it sets us up for a playoff appearance. All the bullshit that has nothing to do with actually what you need to do to execute to win. Keep the main thing the main thing. What is it that you do well? Do that well over and over and over and over. Then you can add. You can add the little things that make sense. You're McDonald's. You make the best burgers. You're serving breakfast. You can make coffee. But until you do the main thing over and over and over, you can't even get to those other things.
So I love that. And when we talk about him as probably the best known and one of the greatest successful investors, we go back to what do we do as sales professionals? We invest our time. And if you invest your time wisely, there's one other thought that he had, which he is campaigning vociferously, there's another really good word, for the end of quarterly reports. So I've worked with lots of public companies who are all focused on a quarterly report. Quarterly reports, good or bad, are all about short-term profits at the expense of long-term performance. Now talk to me about a football game is 4 quarters. You can come out and have, wow, we won the first quarter, and then how many of those?
Forget about football. Let's talk about sales and prospecting. Like when you're in your initial dialogue with a person, remember, we talk about them as prospects. They're all people. So when you're in that initial conversation with a person and you immediately jump to the short term, well, I just have to get the meeting. That's all that's important, is that I get the meeting so that my manager sees that I'm going to meetings. Bullshit. You've sacrificed the long-term gain of the relationship just so that you could push the ask for the meeting. We talked about it earlier this morning. You didn't ask for the meeting. All you did was deliver value to him by thanking him for what he did and giving him a compliment. That's playing the long game. Now you've got a chance to create a dialogue. Playing the long game in relationship building is the key to making the success.
So we're focused on this unusual time, and I call it unique or unusual. I don't call it difficult because I think it's all difficult, to be candid with you. But one of his famous quotes is, "Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. So for those of you who are stuck in the mud, head in the sand, and afraid of what's going on now, the other people who are really working it, crazy opportunity, if you will. And then one of his greatest successes, because he even has had amazing failures that they talk about, and people are still questioning, well, maybe he's too old and maybe it doesn't work. He has the largest equity stake in Apple, 5.7% of Apple, which was a $2 trillion company. Was that correct?
$2 trillion evaluation.
So I don't know who just posted this on LinkedIn.
David Phillips says Georgetown legend John Thompson dies at 78, which, wow.
I did not know that. Oh, that is a gut punch. Oh my God, that is a gut punch, man.
That is a coaching legend. And that is just, in the world of coaching, talking about sowing seeds, phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you, David Phillips, for sharing that and jumping in and getting into the conversation.
It's not the best news I've heard, but thank you for sharing it. Good morning, Brandon Steiner. Welcome to the party. More on Warren Buffett, and I think this will take us out. I was going to talk about Charles Munger, his partner, but we're so into this. One of the things that Warren Buffett talks about is that every single day he spends a lot of his time thinking. Our schedules are not that crowded, so much so that we sit around and think constantly. The actual schedule thinking time. My system has always been sit quietly for as long as I can. Don't mind if there are long periods where nothing's happening. Don't force it. Sort of his calendar's all about the thinking part. And I just don't think people spend enough time thinking.
So to me, it's quality over quantity, right? And so somebody had posted it earlier, go to work. Yeah, I agree with that. As long as you know what it is that you're working towards and you're spending time making it quality work, not just checking the box to say, well, I did it today. Well, I sent out 50 emails today. Well, I showed up and I did 30 minutes of reading. Did you actually learn anything from it? Did you take any notes? People are plowing through books right now. That's great that you're plowing through a book, but what are you gaining from it? So it's intentional. It's we've talked about intention before, but he's intentionally thinking about everything that's happening. So make sure that what you're doing has quality to it by putting your thoughts into it.
Two more things that'll bring us home. They talk about 10 times your learning. We're all about that here. And so I hope that following or listening to Warren Buffett helps you create an investment strategy for your career. Invest in time, invest in efforts, invest in disciplines, the right behavior. Anyone who isn't embarrassed by who they were last year probably isn't learning enough. It's one of the quotes that he lives by. And then Charles Munger, his partner, which I will bring back at some point, maybe on Wisdom Wednesday, because the two of them are phenomenal. In my whole life, I have known no wise people who didn't read all the time. None. So if you can 10 times your learning, and that's what we try to do here. We focus on topics. We focused on takeaways. Certainly tons of content to, jumpstart, if you will, put the jumper cables on your life, get after it today, do what the best do, and create a strategy that you stick by. Richard Gaff talks about Warren Buffett stuck to his investment strategy. Build your strategy, right, which is what we talk to with all of our coaching clients. Build the strategy, stick to it, and do it every single day with patience, discipline, and consistency. And that, my friends, is a wrap. What a beautiful Monday morning. Closing out August, kickstart. If you are not on pace to hit your numbers in September, shame on you, but you still got 30 days to kick it.
Boom. Get back to work.